When injecting the canine and feline elbow, our landmarks are the same. There's 3 approaches, medial, 3 approaches lateral. The first thing to keep in mind is the position of the elbow, and typically I have it close to 90-degree angle. The landmarks we use are going to be our epicondyle, so our medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle, and the olecranon process. The first approach is we palpate the olecranon process. Sometimes it helps to palpate by using the flat of your hand to find the most prominent bony spot. And then we're going to go distal to it, but on an angle. If we look at, this is the angle along the humerus, and now that's the radius ulna, about halfway between the two. So we're going to walk off in that direction. The distance we walk, you can measure on a radiograph. It's typically, for an average dog, it's going to be about a centimeter. When we do that, we're going to go off a centimeter and then angle the needle back. And the reason we angle the needle back is twofold. One is the space of that joint to get into, but also in order to get into it, if we miss it, we want to walk it. And if we walk it this way, you can see you don't really get into it, but walking the needle this direction, you have a better chance of getting in. On the first approach, you usually, if you don't get into the joint the first time, start with the needle a little further than closer, because if you're too close, you're going to end up angling the needle this way and you'll never get into the joint space. If you're the further this way, you can angle it back in. Now if you don't get in, what you're going to do is you're going to walk it towards the joint. And when you walk it, I do it about this speed, and just small little bites until it goes down. In this area, if you're in this window, there's nowhere else for that needle to fall into except the joint space. You can see that's pretty much the same deal on the medial or lateral aspect. It's going to walk along and then fall in a little deeper. The second approach is we use both of our landing mark, epicondyle, olecranon process. In this case, I visualize a 2-dimensional plane created along that, and I stay on that plane. The needle's going to go in about a third of the way, so closer to the olecranon, perpendicular to my work surface, and I make sure the bevel of the needle is pointing down. The reason for that is the bone is less likely to catch the tip of the needle. I insert the needle till I hit bone, and then I tilt it almost all the way flat, basically as flat as I can go, and then I try to slide it under the humerus. This is where it's important to stay on that plane. I don't want the needle going this way, I don't want the needle going this way, or I can completely miss the joint. The last approach involves putting a lot of flexion to the elbow. This is great if the dog has that range of motion. If there's enough pathology in the joint, they won't let you move this much. But if they will, you're now going to come in just proximal to the point olecranon process, aiming towards the anconial process. You need a longer needle, but you create a much bigger space, much bigger target. The medial aspect and the lateral aspect, your landmarks are the exact same. Epicondyle, olecranon process. The other thing you can do is, to help open the joint space, you can put a towel underneath the humerus. The weight of the forearm will then help open that joint space a little bit more.